Game starts. Welcome to BitBuilt, the fastest gamer alive. Bonus video.
Hey gamers, today I've had Zelda on the mind, and you can't think about Zelda without thinking about this. Now, the Master Sword, the Blade of Evil's Bane, Ganon's Kryptonite, the sword wielded by the Hero of Time, and countless other legends. You've really got to respect something like this, but in the games they always play it up to be this massive, legendary blade that will help you defeat evil, but I mean, it's not like it's as cool as Excalibur. It doesn't make you glide on wings of light and shoot fireballs. I mean, like, it's a pretty cool sword, but in the games, after they talk it up, it feels pretty fucking ordinary. I mean, like, in Ocarina of Time, it doesn't really do anything special. It gets replaced by the Bigoron sword really early on, and I mean, like, it doesn't come off that great, but I thought of one Zelda game that actually does make the Master Sword live up to the legends, and that Zelda game is Hyrule Warriors. Let's dive in.
So why is Hyrule Warriors the best Zelda? While not as narratively complex as say Majora's Mask, Hyrule Warriors' story easily eclipses the save the world plot because you are the destined hero that Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword have in place. Instead, we agree to buy a completely new character known as Cia. Cia is the Guardian of Time who is tasked with keeping watch over the Triforce. Now she's been told she must never interfere and only keep watch, but Cia watches Link's heroics throughout time and she's become smitten with him. She foresaw Link's destiny was forever tied to Princess Zelda and was like, screw that, girl, I'm twice as fine as Zelda. I'ma make Link my man. To hell with this Guardian of Time bullshit, I'ma bag me a man in green tights. I mean, can you blame her? Look at Link, he's the biggest pretty boy ever. Cia abandons her post as she's egged on by Ganon himself. Pretty soon Cia invades Hyrule with an army in order to defy destiny and forge her own fate. Instead of saving the world due to a prophecy, we are treated to a tale of love and lust, as Cia defies her destiny in order to bend the world to her will until the man she loves is hers. She's seen that destiny will not allow her to be with Link, so she's going to take him by force. See, it's writing like this that made Majora's Mask so great. The people are given motivations and goals they strive towards. They don't just want to take over the world because evil. This game is such an excellent Zelda fanfare. It ties the series baddie Ganon into the plot really well. He's using Cia to gather the Triforce until eventually she frees him. He's implemented far better than when he just shows the fuck up at the end of Twilight Princess. I thought we were trying to stop Zant from invading in Twilight Princess. Ganon is mentioned a few times, but it's made clear the bad guy is Zant. So Cia has motivations that make her a truly tragic villain. She's fallen in love and told by fate she can't even try to pursue happiness. This is why I love Cia. On top of being a sexy and powerful bad guy, she's shown to have real emotion and depth. The gameplay. Characters like Minda and Ruto now have active roles, like Link, and are represented through gameplay. You get to see their personalities and skills through the way the game plays, not a cutscene or a dialogue box telling you they're tomboyish princesses. All these characters, many of which who just sat on their asses in previous Zelda games, are now real acting characters in a world of war. As a writer, I've always believed in the concept of show don't tell. Now, in Ocarina of Time, Ruto tells you Sheik saved her from being frozen in the ice. In Hyrule Warriors, you see Sheik help Link kill entire armies and then lead the charge towards Cia's base. Now clearly, seeing her in action is better. Hyrule Warriors may be a button-mashing hack and slash, but in the way the characters fight you learn far more about them than drawn-out dialogue could ever tell you. Being a button-mashing game isn't inherently a bad thing. Hell, most Zelda games have single-button combat anyway. B to use the sword, while using A to dodge. Hyrule Warriors takes this basic system of dodge, block, stab, and supercharges it. Link now has combos, various weapons, and even super moves. Link's new abilities make the combat complex, far more than it's been in any other Zelda game before it, and it lets you play as Ganondorf. What more do you fucking want? Hyrule Warriors loves Zelda. From the moment you boot up the game and agree to buy that iconic title sequence and the music, your mind begins brimming with all things Zelda. Every single part of this game, from the menus to the layout, is littered with Zelda references and designs. See, Hyrule Warriors is a cut above other Zelda games in my eyes because it knows what's great about those Zelda games and turns it up to 10. For the first time ever, you're allowed to play as other Zelda characters. You know Princess Ruto? You know, the Zora girl you run around with in the giant fish in Ocarina of Time that grows up to be a hot mermaid, then you can run into her again in the water temple. Yeah, well now, she can cut down entire armies with waves of water while displaying her tomboyish yet elegant persona instead of being used to hold down switches and then vanishing for the rest of the fucking game. Where's my wedding, Ruto? You proposed to me! See, this is the type of learn through play with the characters that let you see them in active roles, as opposed to standing around spurting text at you. In Ocarina of Time, I wanted Boruto to come on my quest with me. It seemed like her and Link become good friends. What does she do? Stand around next to her dad and insult my taste in masks. In Majora's Mask, we were given a taste of the swift skill of Azora, the raw power of a Goron, and now you can play as the leader of these two races. How badass is that? The Sage of Fire and Water now mean more than have this elemental medallion and now fuck off. Again, I can't stress this enough, how much more enjoyable these characters are as they become a part of the game, not just an NPC who stands around looking like an idiot until they're needed in a cutscene. Characters. So many people love Minda in Twilight Princess because she helps Link out with teleports and dark magic. Wouldn't you love to see her sassy attitude go to the next level? Well, now you can. She's completely playable in both Cursed Imp and Sexy Princess versions. The game is brimming with shoutouts from old songs and weapons returning. Only this time they've supercharged them. In Ocarina of Time you get the Master Sword. It acts as Link's regular sword, and it's iconic, but does it do anything? Outside of the final fight with Ganon, not really. Now in Hyrule Warriors, when you finally unlock the Master Sword, it's this awesome new blade that enhances all of Link's attacks. It makes you feel like you have this superpowered sword of legend. Let me put it in perspective for you. The Knight Sword you start the game with does 80 damage. The Master Sword does 300 damage. It's the most powerful weapon in the game until you hit the adventure maps. It's the go-to weapon you pick when you want to get shit done, and you feel like a badass when you're using it. The game made me fall in love with the Master Sword as a weapon, and it went beyond looking iconic and became useful. This game gives characters that were merely concepts in other games depth and meaning. I love the inhabitants of Termina because they seem like real people with problems. Anju, a woman who works the local inn, has been left at the altar by her now missing husband. She worries about him, searches for him, and even begs strangers to help find him. And Ocarina of Time, she's lost their chickens! Oh fuck! Who will save us? Not me! Better get the hero of time to find my chickens! I love Ocarina of Time, but its elements just seem so outclassed by Hyrule Warriors. Also, look at all the weapons and characters and costumes. Now, I'm not one of these people who think that Ocarina of Time needs to go away. Far from it. It's a legacy game that introduced so much to Zelda and made it awesome and loved all over the world. Every game has its place, and Ocarina of Time set the bar. All I'm getting at is Hyrule Warriors is far more fun. It takes the cast of characters and breathes life into them. I think my girlfriend said it best. I made her play Ocarina of Time and she said to me, if the opening can't catch my interest in the first 30 minutes, why is it worth my time? She told me that while running around the Kakiri forest collecting rupees to buy a shield. She simply told me, collecting rupees to buy a shield can't compare fighting off hordes of monsters attacking Hyrule Castle on level 1. I've been replaying Ocarina of Times and the dungeons just seem boring, like pushing blocks, hitting switches. It's not very fun and it's not very Zelda. I know most of you think Zelda is about puzzles, but it's not. I've been watching the Game Grumps play Legend of Zelda for the NES and I've noticed the original had next to no puzzles. The door locks behind you and you've got to kill enemies to progress. Sure, you discovered things, but it didn't have a whole lot of puzzles. I go as far to say Zelda's core concept is exploration and combat. So in a way, Hyrule Warriors is far closer to the original Zelda than Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past will ever be. I think Hyrule Warriors is the perfect Zelda game, and the only thing I would change is making an open world as opposed to mission menu based.
And that's why I think Hyrule Warriors is one of the better Zelda games. I mean, for God's sake, it makes this thing make you feel like one of the most powerful heroes ever. It's done really well, it's really deep, and while I don't think it's the absolute best Zelda game, I think Majora's Mask takes that, it really does justice to this thing that they talk up in every other game, and while it might not be made directly by Nintendo, the people who made it clearly love Zelda and know what they were doing. If you like this video, click here for a theory on Devil May Cry, and if you want to hear more of my awesome voice, click here and you can watch me playing Metal Gear Solid 5. It's a great new game, you guys should click here and check it out. Hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss another video, and yeah, thanks for watching, see you next time.